My name is Sharon Nelson, Deputy Director of Human Resources for the City of Columbia. Talent in the City is our effort to showcase our departments, divisions, and key players as we count down to our annual career fair.
Today for Talent in the City, we are exploring the Neighborhood Safety and Engagement Department with the City of Columbia. We're here with the Director, Trevon Fordham, to learn a little bit more about the work that they're doing. And Trevon, we're so excited to be here with you today.
Thank y'all for having us.
Absolutely. And this is a fairly new department. Tell us about it.
Correct. So our department was actually established by our council in November of 2022. I was hired as the director in June of 2023, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since. So we're just over about 19 months now.
Wow. And a lot of work has been done in just a little under 2 years. Tell us more about how you found yourself in this role.
Right, so I've been in this field when it comes to criminal justice the last 16 years. I started off at the Department of Juvenile Justice as a juvenile correctional officer. From there I went into policing, so I got my Class 1 certification. I became a police officer. Moved on to the Richland County Sheriff's Department where I was there. I was a special services division, and I was a school resource officer. So I really got to see the impact of communities, schools, and just working with youth and families. And that's kind of where, out of all my years of policing, I really found like I got my best footing. After that, I did some programming again at the Department of Juvenile Justice. Went on to the Department of Public Safety, where I was there for about 5 years. And my emphasis there was grant administration and really working with law enforcement agencies and just child serving agencies to make our system better. And so after that, I found myself in the classroom as a criminal justice instructor and decided that I really wanted to get back to my community-based roots. And here came this role. So again, I've been in this role since June of 2023.
Was there anything in your life as a young person that really sparked that passion for you?
So I'm one of 7. I'm the second youngest, but in some aspects in my family, I'm one of the oldest because some of my siblings still, even to this day, although they're older, look up to me in a sense. Coming up, I've always had a deep root in, I guess, family and community because coming from a larger family, we were all we had, right? So I learned that very early, that you stick up for your people, for people around you, and for your community. So I've always had that passion, I think, from my parents as well. We lived in a time of the village concept, right? For our neighbors and our families. So that's what I grew up around, and that's what I knew. So really growing up, I had some good role models that were around in the forms of coaches that really took care of me, literally took care of me. And so that kind of shaped who I am. So that's why I give back. That's why I do the mentoring. That's why I do things through our fraternity, because I had those role models coming up. The law enforcement piece, I don't quite know where that came from, but if you ask my mom, she said I was the best at playing cops and robbers. So apparently I used to arrest my brother all the time, apparently. I think it may have been from a show we used to watch, but it's just something about helping people. Yeah. And I absolutely loved and enjoyed being out in communities, the community engagement, the community policing. That was the part that I loved most. And that's what kind of brought me to this role, is that I get to be out in the community so much. And that's what I truly enjoy about my job, is really being out. But I really say, growing up, coming up, it's always been about family and community for me. So that's what really drives and drives my passion now.
Absolutely, well said. And did you grow up in the area at all?
So I'm from Charleston.
From Charleston.
I've been here since 2009. I went to Newberry College, graduated from there in 2006. After that, I used to be a personal trainer. But with the recession, I know it may not look like it now, but that's a long time ago. With the recession and everything like that in 2008, I decided I needed a job with stability and also, a job with benefits. Because of course, as a personal trainer, it was good, starting off the new year when everybody had these goals and resolutions. And then it would start tapering off and I'd get less clients. And I was like, that wasn't paying the bills. So I said, well, what job can I get into? What industry can I get into that I would enjoy and that I would love? And as long as I don't do anything stupid, I'll always have a job. So I said, let me get into criminal justice. So at the time, and this is God honest truth, I was in North Charleston. I went through all of the pre-hiring for the North Charleston Police Department. And at that same time, I was like, well, I'm from Charleston. I don't know that I want to stay in Charleston. And so I also applied in Columbia, because again, going to Newberry College, I was familiar with Columbia. We would come down to Columbia often to get away from Newberry. So I was like, well, let me also look at some jobs in Columbia. So I applied for a juvenile correctional officer job at DJJ. And as I was going through it, I was thinking, like, which one would I want to do more? I'd already completed everything with the City of North Charleston. Again, I was pretty fit back then, so I had the fastest time for the PAT test, physical agility test. I was amped, right?
Yeah.
And then it was, well, let me see. And as I was praying, I said, well, whichever job calls me first is the one I'm gonna go with. And DJJ called me on Wednesday, and North Charleston called me the next day, but I'd already accepted DJJ. So I moved here to Columbia in 2009 and started my professional career, and I've been here ever since.
Wonderful. That's quite the story. From personal trainer
Right.
to director. That's huge.
Right, yeah.
When you look back at that, what are your thoughts? What thoughts come to mind?
You know, honestly, never thought about this role or sitting in this seat, but I've always wanted to be in a position where I can make a difference. And even now, as we're 19 months in with this office, I can really see some of those flowers blooming. As I was going through the interview process here at the city, I had a long list, which I still have, of about 5 pages of everything I would do if I got hired, right? Everything from doing environmental design, looking at the lighting, looking at the streets, right? Looking at our sidewalks, doing cleanups, to working with our law enforcement partners, to really doing more community resource fairs. And now, as I'm 19 months in, and I've seen that not only have we done those things, we've done them 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, some more than that. So just seeing a lot of flowers bloom and seeing overall, when we talk about our violence reduction and we talk about our city, I can sit here and quote some different stats and tell y'all that the city and our violent crime is down, right? Y'all can go outside, go to the neighborhood, and they'll say, yep, but we still don't feel safe. So that's been a new challenge for us, is to really make sure that people are feeling safer as our violence is being reduced. So again, it's really not something that I thought about. I just knew I wanted to be in a position where I can impact change. And fortunately, you know, the City of Columbia saw enough of me based on the things I've done to give me the opportunity. So I'm very grateful that I get to do what I love every day.
I've been in law enforcement and public safety environment career for over 23 years. And so I just found this position as a way to give back to the community. So far, it's been a great experience. Working for the city has been fantastic. Co-workers are great, and I really enjoy working and collaborating with partners in the city.
Formerly, I worked at DJJ for almost 10 years, and that's where my passion and drive came from, being here. And other entities that I've been in as well, providing community support services, behavioral health, and mental health services. So during my time at DJJ, I really was just there on I need a job at the time. I used to be a hairstylist. I owned my own salon for 10 years, and I ended up with carpal tunnel syndrome. I refused to have the surgery. So I kind of wandered around trying to figure out who I want to be. At the age of 30, I ended up going back to college and obtaining my degree in criminal justice with the emphasis of juvenile justice once I started there. So I just fell in, I just need a job. I didn't think, anything of it. I didn't see it as a future, and it ended up being my niche. I have kids right now today from DJJ that still calls me, that needs encouragement, motivation. Sometimes they need help. So they still call me to ask their advice, my advice, my opinion, and just seeking help, or just to talk sometimes, to catch up. So yeah, it came from my background of being at DJJ and just falling in love with youth and at-risk families.